And then I told him, that's not a dirty, rotten, filthy fucking Mexican. That's my dad.
What's the difference? That was so fake.
Ha 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 ha. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Taboo Tater Tots Club podcast.
Where we talk about anything that interests us, whether it be politics, fucking retail horror, or fucking having sex with a computer.
Yeah.
That's not a story that I found, but
Okay.
I would not put it past the human race.
Okay.
Anyways, how are you, Nick?
Damn it. I was going to say that first.
Okay, fine.
I'm
how
okay.
am I, Nick?
No.
Wait.
I'm doing okay. I think the last time we recorded was before I went to the emergency room.
Yeah, so almost 2 weeks ago now.
Almost 2 weeks ago, yeah. I had the rhinovirus. It's not rhinovirus. It's a different thing. I shat into a plastic, like, bucket thing.
Was it even a cup?
Well, no, okay, so what happened was, I took, and I'm sure that it had something to do with it, right? I took 20 units of insulin when before the maximum I had taken was 17, I think, 17 or 18. And last time I did that, I got sick too. But we thought it was this medication called glipizide that did it. So we're like, okay, drop that, but continue on with your insulin. I'm like, okay. And I took 20 units. And oh my God, I was so fucking sick. I was violently retching. I was throwing up everything in my system. Abdominal pain. Abdominal pain. I can't say that word sometimes.
Many other abdominal.
And I took
Admiral.
I took so many. I took like Miralax and milk of magnesia and stool softeners, and I even took this like citric something or other.
Citric acid?
No, it's like a thing to help you poop too. And I still couldn't go, and then I started like squeezing off a little bit of juicy shits. But that was very few and far between, and it just, I was in so much pain and so much misery, I had to go to the ER. And long story short, I did have rhinovirus, but I still haven't talked to my main doctor yet about like, hey, so I'm not taking insulin again, because I was like, okay, we're going to back down to 10 units. And even then, I wasn't having stomach issues or throwing up or anything, but I was nauseous, and I again was poopant. Shittant, yes.
To quote you from a different episode.
Yes, I was still shittant. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not taking any insulin at all until I see my doctor again. Which has been hell on my feet. But other than that...
Wait, hold on. What do you mean by that? Hell on your feet? Is that like a real thing? Where...
Yeah. If you have real bad diabetes, which I do, like my sugar is upwards of 300-400 sometimes. Like my feet swell up and they start hurting and they're tingly and...
Okay, so you're not at the point where you're gonna like lose a foot or something, are you?
I don't know.
Oh, fuck.
That's the issue. I don't know. There's no, like, necrosis, which is good.
Okay, what's that? What's that?
When your flesh starts dying and turning, like, green and black. There's no, like...
So basically decomposing while you're alive.
Yes.
Is that...
Yeah, when you're in end-stage diabetes, like you are at death's door, that's what starts happening.
So that is a good way to put it, though.
Yeah, that's what happens when you need amputations.
Okay.
Because once it starts, it doesn't stop. There's no reversing it. Anyway, that hasn't started happening, thank God. It's just swelling and tingling and stabbing pain sometimes.
Well, that's good.
Not the pain.
It's good because you can feel your feet still.
Yeah.
That's what I was meaning.
The next step is numbness, yeah. And I don't have any numbness yet, but like where the hair grows on the top of the foot, that's starting to hurt a bit. But yeah, the next step is numbness. I haven't experienced a whole lot of that yet, but you know how if you like sit on your hand or your leg or whatever, your feet get numb.
They fall asleep, yeah.
Yeah. That usually happens within like 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
No, I can't put any pressure on my legs at all, or else they'll start going numb, like almost, well, not immediately, but like 2-3 minutes. So that's a bit concerning. So yeah, like I'm not dying at the present moment, but I will be dying in the future if I don't get this shit under control. So that's fun.
As you're drinking a soda.
There's no sugar. Well, there's a little bit of sugar in this.
I was gonna say something. Oh, if they amputate your feet and you have to
can't have it.
No, I don't want your feet.
Okay.
I was gonna say we're gonna put you in a wheelchair and I'm gonna slap a camera on you and we're gonna go do weird shit.
Okay.
Not even crazy shit, just weird shit.
Okay.
I'm not gonna like push you in the middle of the road or anything like that. I'm gonna push you into a shelf at Maverick.
Okay, that's fair.
Or something like that. You know, something that people are gonna be scratching their heads at, you know.
Yeah. Other than that, I'm fine. However, Raichu, my dog, put a picture of her here. Down right down there.
I'll just make it full screen.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm lazy.
Her name is Raichu. She is
Adorable.
Part Chihuahua, part Wiener Dog, part Rat Terrier, we think. Because her dad was full Wiener Dog and her mom was part Chihuahua for sure, and probably part Rat Terrier. We don't know about that second part. Anyway, she got some kind of a blister. Have you ever gone like a week or more without showering and then you get like a blood blister like between your legs or something like that on your side maybe?
No, never.
That's happened once or twice to me. It's like that, but we're not exactly sure what happened. She might have gotten a stick in her paw or something. I don't know. It's between her toes, like the top part of her like knuckle. It's in between her toes and it's ginormous and she's been looking at it and it looks good now because we've been putting antibiotic cream on it and wrapping it up with that like stretchy sticky tape stuff.
Oh, I love using that. Just not for animals.
Okay.
It gets lonely in the basement, okay?
Okay. And we did have to get her a cone of shame because we want the scab or whatever you want to call it, because it's like still a little bit red, but it's like I guess you could say it's deflating and it's not like bleeding at all. So we're letting it breathe. And
what happened to your dog? He deflated.
Oh. No, it's just the blister between her toes.
I know, but that was the first picture.
Okay. We did get her a cone of shame. They didn't have any of the plastic ones, so we got her a little inflatable collar thingy. Well, show the picture. Show the picture. Again, yes.
Okay. Full screen because I'm lazy.
Okay. Yeah, and she absolutely fucking hates me right now. I mean, I've been giving her like treats. And we're just using a little Q-tip to put some antibiotic stuff in between her toes.
Yeah, I would imagine trying to put that on with your hand would be a worst idea.
Huh?
A worst idea.
What did you say before that?
Putting the stuff on with your hand.
Oh, that's what I was doing before. I just put a glob of the cream on my finger and just kind of shove it in between her toes and then wrap it up.
How'd she respond to that?
I mean, she didn't like it. We had to hold her so she wouldn't like yank away. But we got it on her every night. We changed it twice a day, and we made sure that we like cleaned it with warm water and a light antibiotic soap.
So some people say you're not supposed to use peroxide on dogs.
Really?
I used peroxide on Buddy when he got attacked.
Yeah.
I'm sure you remember that. I would just dump like a towel, like a paper towel or toilet paper or something like that, and I would just clean his wounds with it. He's perfectly fine. He's still his retarded self. If that gave him brain cells, I would go buy a lottery ticket.
What?
If the peroxide gave him brain cells, I would go buy a lottery ticket.
Why would it do that?
I'm just saying it because I was like, he still his retarded self. And then I was like, if the peroxide gave him brain cells.
But why would it give him brain cells?
I don't, because he doesn't have that many.
Okay, usually shit like that would remove the brain cells.
Well, yeah,
why would
if
it
you drink
give
it.
him? Okay, never mind. Forget it. But yeah, she's doing fine. I was just hoping and praying it didn't get infected. She walked on it the entire time, so it must not have hurt her too bad. But
I would use peroxide. If it
I might like rinse her paw in peroxide like tonight maybe, because it's mostly gone.
Just get a paper towel or toilet paper or hell, even like a washcloth, and just dump some on it, and then just dab at it, and just kind of gauge their reaction.
I kind of totally forgot about peroxide. I'm gonna be honest, but the cream both is anti-itch, anti-pain, and then it's antibiotic. So I just kind of figured that would do the job, and it mostly did.
And at first, she's probably gonna wince.
Oh yeah,
but the thing about peroxide is it's mostly water.
Yeah.
And then
it's only like what 0.8% actual like chemical or something like that.
Yeah, like it's very minimal.
At the very most 1%, I think it is. Yeah.
And I just don't understand why people would say it's bad for animals. I mean, yeah, it's bad for animals to drink. I could see that.
Well, it's bad for anybody to drink. Anybody or anything to drink.
Yeah, exactly. But, using it for wounds like you're supposed to, I don't see how that would be a problem.
Yeah. Other than me and the dog, I did my taxes a bit ago. And it was funny because I'm pretty sure the tax man at H&R Block, what's the opposite of a shout out? Disrespect on H&R Block. I'm pretty sure he scammed us because when it came time to put in stuff for my wife's schooling on our tax sheet, he's like, "Oh, did you enroll this year or this past year in college?" And my wife's like, "Well, I've been enrolled." And he's like, "Okay, so that doesn't apply to you." I looked up the tax code, and it does not state if you enrolled that year. It says if you are enrolled, period. And so I checked that as a positive on my tax sheet. And instead of owing $78 like we were originally going to owe federally, it changed it to the opposite of we are getting like over almost $1,000. So the tax man fucking scammed the shit out of us last year. So that's super cool. We owe like $600 on our taxes from last year because of that. If we are able to pay it out all in full, we are at least getting a new, nice, sturdy table for the studio.
Which will not have... I don't know if it can really be seen.
No, it can't see the table.
It will not have this bullshit. The part where it's not flat.
You can't really see the edge.
Okay. Well,
it's squishy because it's plastic. It's like a harder plastic, but still quite squishy. Thank you, Morgan. Now I'm gonna have to fucking on the fly here.
I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
Fuck you.
Oh, okay, bye.
Okay. Damn it. Okay, that's good enough. Fuck it. Or if they still want me to do it in payments, which they wanted us to do that last time my wife got her stipend for college, then we're gonna get a new PC, and hopefully that will help
Everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
The table though can be super nice.
Yeah.
Because then our fucking mic arms and camera arms won't be fucking falling off 24/7.
Yeah. Yeah, and when we do that, everything won't shake, and hopefully you won't hear it as much. So that's super cool. Anyway, that's what's new with me. What's new with you?
Oh boy, where do I fucking start?
Oh
boy. Where the fuck do I start?
Okay.
Fuck you, Goofy.
I'll fucking do it again. Yeah.
So starting last week,
Mm-hmm.
probably right after we got done recording the podcast, like a few days after, not like literally 2 minutes.
Uh-huh. Obviously. Oh, yeah. Morgan almost burnt down the studio.
No, I almost burnt down the house.
Oh, the whole house, yeah.
Yeah. So I was soldering, and I was getting annoyed because the RC project was not going anywhere. Like, nothing was working, nothing was showing signs of life. So I decided, hey, let's just route wires differently.
Oh. That I know almost nothing about wiring and electrical work, but that doesn't sound good.
Well, at least it did something. It wasn't the effect that I wanted.
Yeah, that you can see that pretty good.
It wasn't the effect that I wanted, but it did something.
Yeah.
So, and it was annoying because I spent like 30 minutes trying to get everything wired up and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to connect the final wire, and it rejected it. But I didn't realize that it rejected it. So I was like, oh, I just need something to hold it in place. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I used one of these motherfuckers, which is a weight from the R2 project. And I connected it. And I was about to start soldering when it sparked and up in flames it went.
Very cool.
So we had a fire extinguisher in here. My first thought was, well, this is happening.
Mm-hmm.
Time to get the fire extinguisher. You know, like there's that split second of, well,
shit.
you know, like that moment of processing.
Yeah.
And so I go to spray it with the fire extinguisher, press the handle, and it doesn't fucking work. Yeah. So at that point, I was like, well, this is my life now.
By the way, the fire extinguisher was out of date in 2018, 2019? Yeah.
It's been here since I moved in. That's all I know.
Well, either way, it's been out of date for a while.
Which was at least almost 4 years ago now.
Yeah.
So I went to spray it. Nothing happened. And so I was just like, well, this is my life now. I have a new roommate.
A new roommate?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
The fire.
Okay.
Yeah, it got pretty hot pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah, fire does that.
So I just kind of stood there and watched it burn like, not sure what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And after about 3 minutes, it burnt itself out.
Oh, very cool.
But thankfully, I had it on. It's under shit right now, but I had it on the decorative license plate that I have that I use specifically for soldering.
Mm-hmm.
So it wouldn't have caught the table.
Next time something like that happens, go get a rag or an actual towel, wet it, and then throw it on there.
Yeah, in the moment, wasn't thinking about any of that.
Yeah.
Because it was just so sudden, and once the fire extinguisher failed, I was like, well, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
I forgot water even fucking existed.
Yeah.
But
shit like that happens.
So, I have fucked with this once or twice after that incident. And what's weird is, do you see that little light right there?
The red one?
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
I have never gotten it to turn on.
Oh.
Until after the fire.
Oh.
And I haven't been able to get it to stay on or, figure out how to consistently get it to flicker.
Mm-hmm.
But it was randomly flickering whenever I would connect a wire to places.
Interesting.
Right? But, we've had, and you didn't actually know this part because it wasn't a big deal, but there was actually a second fire.
Oh.
From the same exact thing.
Cool.
The only difference was it was almost immediately gone.
Okay.
But there were flames. It wasn't just a spark, it was full-blown flames. So, I don't trust this thing, so it sits in a pot.
It's in timeout.
Yes. So, that was the start of my week.
Cool.
And then, really, I've just kind of lounged around, did whatever. Like I said, February is just a rough month for me. Very depressing.
February.
Bear.
Okay.
February.
Okay.
But, and I should have waited to tell you this on camera, but you were surprised by this. I got to grow flowers.
Question is, what did she do with the flowers?
I don't know yet.
What do you mean you don't know yet?
Okay, so we'll call this particular friend Zeta.
Okay.
That is literally the farthest thing from any name I could think of.
Okay.
So she was like, you should get her roses. And I was like, okay.
Who said this about who?
Zeta.
Said this about who?
I gotta come up with another name now. Bob.
Okay. Bob said that you should get Zeta flowers.
No. Bob said, wait. Zeta said I should get Bob flowers.
So Bob is your love interest.
Yeah.
So who the fuck is Zeta? Just a friend?
Yes.
Okay. Is it Kay? The person that I know? Never mind, continue.
I can't think of anyone that starts with a K right now. So, and no.
Okay.
So I was like, okay.
You're trying to court Bob
Yes.
with flowers. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I went and, have you ever gotten flowers?
Just in general?
Yes. Have you ever bought flowers?
Yes.
They're fucking expensive.
Yeah.
Especially for something that's gonna die in a week.
Yeah. That's why I don't do it very often.
That's why I dropped mine off at an orphanage.
Okay.
Anyways, so I went
You know how much designer flowers are, by the way?
I didn't even know that was a thing. This is the first time I've ever bought flowers for anyone.
So, super quick tangent. When my uncle died, I probably shouldn't have said his name.
You want me to bleep it?
Yeah, because it's also my grandpa's name. When my uncle H died, he
Wait, what's the timestamp?
25 minutes.
Exactly?
Not exactly. His favorite thing in the whole wide world was the Raiders football. He liked the Raiders, and so we got him black roses, and you can like mess with the genes of a plant by splicing different kinds of plants together to get your desired result. And regular roses, let's say 100 regular roses costs you, for example, $70, right? Let's just say that. Well, 100 black roses cost us like almost $200.
God damn!
Yeah, we asked specifically the floral shop, because at first we were just going to do plastic roses, and then my grandpa was like, no, not for my son. Which, you know, commendable.
I fucking love your grandpa. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
Was it the place on the square?
I think it was the place in Oakley.
Oh.
So we got flowers and the gravestone. We got one in Oakley, one here, and I don't remember which is which.
Because I know that there's a flower place on the square here.
Mm-hmm.
And...
Oh, mute. That looks like a Y.
Meat!
It looks like mute. Anyway, yeah. The flowers are fucking expensive.
Yeah. I'm the only one that needs to be able to read it, so.
Yeah. But yeah, we got black and silver roses, which the silver roses had to be like they didn't look very silvery, so they kind of just painted over the actual roses.
And
because silver doesn't happen naturally in the nature.
So after we got the flowers from our local grocery outlet, because I'm fancy like that,
yeah,
I didn't know where else to get, you know, flowers without spending an arm and a leg, you know.
Ridley's?
Yeah.
Walmart?
No, that's where I went, Ridley's.
Oh.
And I still fucking spent a fucking entire finger.
What? You spent a finger?
You know the expression, an arm and a leg?
Yes.
It wasn't quite as that drastic.
Okay, that sort of makes sense.
But I did lose a finger.
Yeah, sure.
And then Zeta, we did not communicate this at all. We go to where Bob is.
Mm-hmm.
Unknowns to me, she was planning on having me give them to her right then and there.
Is Bob a she?
Yes.
I would assume so.
Yes.
Because you're not...
No.
We weren't a thing.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
And I freaked the fuck out.
Yeah.
Long story short, I didn't give her the flowers. Zeta did.
Because you were too shy.
No, I just didn't have time to fucking prepare.
Oh.
Because there was a severe miscommunication. But what I did was, I took the flowers and I took a piece of cardboard. And Bob has a very dark sense of humor.
Let's just call her Bobelina.
Okay.
Because it's a woman. Assumedly.
Bob was just another name that I could pull out my ass.
Okay.
Bobalina has a dark sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote a joke on this cardboard.
Mm-hmm.
And then I zip tied it using her favorite colors to the roses.
Mm-hmm.
And then Zeta later took them to Bob Lee.
Bobalina.
That
Yeah.
so, and I would have given them to her myself if I had had time to prepare. But you got to realize, like, I have not met this girl in person.
Oh.
Yeah, that would have been the first time.
Is it what's his name's sister?
Yeah.
Oh. I see.
And now you can probably figure out who Zeta is.
What's his name?
No.
Then I have no idea.
Starts with a T.
I have no idea.
Wendy's, I think it was.
Wendy's?
Yeah.
What about Wendy's?
You used to work together there, I think.
Oh!
If I'm
Okay.
not mistaken.
Yes. Okay. I was going to say, I don't think M works with us anymore. But
She doesn't.
yes. I didn't think so. But yeah, I've worked with both of them. Yeah. Anyway, congratulations. I hope she accepts them and likes them.
All I know so far is she said thank you.
Okay.
She's a super shy type, so I don't know.
I see.
But do you want to know what I wrote on the cardboard?
Yeah.
What's the difference between a priest and SpongeBob? At least SpongeBob asks if you're ready.
Okay.
And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. Well,
And then just more lounging around and being depressed and trying to look out for people that need looking out for, even though they don't fucking want it. They're gonna fucking get it.
okay. So before we jump into the main segment, we have a news to announce. In case you have not noticed by the whiteboard behind me and also the little list of links there on the screen already, we have an affiliate link for w.gg, not a link but a code. w.gg is like Kool-Aid but
Energy drink.
energy drink. Yeah, it's like G Fuel or Gamer Subs.
Yeah. If you get something from there, please tell me how Grandpa's denture water tastes.
Yeah, that's the one that we're most interested in trying, is the denture water one.
I might get that next, just to say.
Yes, we have already purchased a starter kit, which includes a tumbler and 3 different flavors, like 1 drink mix type of pouch thingies. That was only, I think, $21 with our code plus shipping.
The shipping was free, but the total
No,
was...
it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
Maybe with our code that we use personally for us, but not with the Taboo Tots code. It was not.
No, I know that. I'm saying it was... The shipping was free on the little receipt thing when I was ordering the thing.
With our secret code that we cannot give out. That gives us 30% off because, you know, it's our link.
Yeah.
But with the code Taboo Tots, you get 10% off of your order. Plus we get a little bit of a kickback, which is really cool. So far, I believe your Madre is going to
Mama Morgs
is going to did she specify what flavors she's going to get, or just the starter kit, or what?
She didn't specify.
Either way, she's going to also try it out and see how she likes it.
And we're going to be recording our reactions.
Yeah, and we'll probably just tell you guys on the podcast how it went, but we're going to probably start branching out on the Patreon, start doing different things for that, because doing movie reviews is getting kind of old, even though we've only done it like 4 or 5 times.
We're struggling to
keep up with that.
It's just not exciting anymore.
It was kind of exciting at first, and we're like, whatever. But we're going to find more content to put on the Patreon, and maybe we'll put like the full taste test uncut video over there.
No, I think that should be a main channel thing.
Should it?
I think so.
We'll figure it out either way.
I personally think that should be a main channel thing, or like the actual taste tests should be on the main channel, and then like behind the scenes and shit could be behind or Patreon.
Yeah. Either way, I just really hope that it doesn't mess with my heart, because a lot of energy drinks do. The only ones that I've had that don't are like Rain and Bang. What?
Rain is amazing!
Yeah, Rain is pretty good. Those are the only 2 that really don't mess with my heart too much.
So I want to clarify that this is not a sponsorship.
Yeah, it's not a sponsorship. They're not paying us to do this. It is an affiliate, which basically means sponsorship. They put money directly into our hand. An affiliate means that technically you who purchased the product are technically paying us, because they pay the company, and the company's like, oh, here is a pittance for your worries.
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna
money is money, so
I want to specify that this is not a sponsorship.
We are not obligated to say anything that we do not want to say. If it is good, we will tell you it's good. If it is shit, we will tell you it's shit.
In the channel description, it's literally just 2 dudes from the potato state that will never censor their opinions.
Filter their opinion? One of the 2.
Yeah, something like that. And we are going to stick true to that. Even if it ever becomes like a sponsorship thing where we're getting paid, I will never lie just for a paycheck.
Yeah, if they tell us, oh, you have to say it's delicious and you have to use the word decadent or whatever, like, no, we're not going to do that. Fuck that.
If they're like, yeah, be honest with us and tell us how we can improve and all this different shit, then
that would be fine. But if I have to say something is good when it's not, I'm not going to accept that.
Yeah, it fucking makes you vomit and you're just like, it's great.
Yeah. That's funny. But yeah,
you should definitely buy it. It's not poisonous.
As far as I know, because I did a little bit of research, W has been around for a few years, and they're just kind of getting off the ground, which is why they are allowing pretty much anybody with any size audience to sign up right now. There's also like later on down the road sponsorship deals and branding deals and stuff like that. But right now it's just the code for 10% off, and we get a little bit of a kickback. But if you actually want to get something that you think that you will actually get some worth out of, instead of some stupid little movie review or a shout out or anything like that, if you want something more than that, that is how you can help the channel grow. Again, that's w.gg code taboo tots. It's on the screen and it's on the whiteboard. That's not always going to be there. That's just for this episode. But yes.
But it should hopefully always be on screen.
Yes, it'll always be on screen, and then we'll always chill it at the end of the episode. But this is the only time we will ever have a segment, a little time slot in the video dedicated just to talk about this, just to introduce you guys to it. So, try it out if you want to. If you don't want to, then don't worry about it. We're not gonna shove it down your throat. We'll just mention it at the end of each episode, just like we do the tip jar and the Patreon and all that.
Although I do want to know what fucking Grandpa's denture water tastes like. Like, I cannot get that out of my head.
Well, Polygrip smells like bubblegum. So it might be like a bubblegum flavor.
What the fuck is Polygrip?
It's because with dentures, if people don't have any teeth, they put this pink gunk up into their mouths, the roof of their mouths, and then they put their dentures in, and that's what helps keep the dentures in.
So it's kind of like glue.
Like paste, yeah. It doesn't like solidify or anything like that. It just helps it stick to the roof of your mouth.
I mean, I'm sure if you left it lying around long enough.
I mean, maybe. But yeah, that's what that's called. So maybe it's like a bubblegum type of a flavor. I don't know.
Anyways, while you're getting set up for the main topic, I'm going to run and take a piss.
Well, I'll just pause it. I need a breath.
Okay.
You think darkness is your ally. I was born in it, molded by it. I did not see light until I was already a man, and by then, it was only blinding. Fuck a duck until exploded. It would be extremely painful for you.
Yeah, just give me a car battery and I'll get the truth out.
Okay.
Bitch.
Yeah, just really quick, one more thing about the W thing. It's not a sponsorship. That's like the only shady thing about the whole thing. It's not a fucking sponsorship. It's an affiliate program.
Which is still exciting.
Yes. But it's still not a fucking sponsorship.
No.
So on to the main topic. We got a couple of stories that we want to tell. Depending on how long this goes, we're already at 42 minutes. Would you like to go first, or shall I?
You shall.
I shall. Okay. I don't know if you read through all of your stories, but
I just kind of skimmed.
got the gist of it, yeah.
Just kind of skimmed through and made sure that there was, or at least tried to make sure that there wasn't any N-words or anything like that.
Yeah, I kind of forgot to do that, but that's okay.
Well, yours was more relatively safe.
Yeah. So mine are Tales from Retail, and yours are Tales from Tech Support.
Yep.
There's a guy on TikTok that I really like that goes through different stories that are like, oh, these stories will make you believe that you are smarter than most Americans or something like that. And yeah, we're going to do that. So this is Tales from Retail from user IOCATEK. It's called It's Still a $100 Bill, and I Still Can't Take That. So, stubborn customers, here we go. Here's my nomination for dimmest bulb in the chandelier of customers. Gonzo, who as of yesterday has me convinced that he has zero idea as to how money actually works. I've been suspecting this for a long time because Gonzo is the kind of guy who, upon getting paid, will spend a huge chunk of it on lottery. Gonzo is the kind of guy who will take over the checkout counter with buying scratcher after scratcher and scratches them off right there at the register, which is the worst kind of person. He has no concept that other people want to pay for their stuff too, and he would hold up the line for 20 minutes if you let him. But I don't let him. Gonzo is the kind of customer that you have to treat like a naughty child and tell him, no, that's for other people's turns now. It's other people's turns now. I hate, it's mostly I've noticed boomers, but it is other generations of people who are completely oblivious of themselves, who will like stop in the middle of an aisle and talk on their phone, or will like just gawk at something on the shelf, and you're like, excuse me, and they're like, oh, excuse me. Like, there are
Where did Mickey Mouse come into this?
like people who are just so they only care about themselves, and they only think about themselves, and the only default that they have is themselves. And when you enter their bubble, they're like, oh my god, another person, I am so sorry. Like, yeah, this is a grocery store in midday, like, please get out of the fucking way. I hate people like that so much, because it's probably an autistic thing, maybe, but like, I am so hyper aware of myself, where I'm like, okay, I need to scoot the cart over this way just in case somebody comes around the corner. I need to be very careful around this corner because there could be somebody coming this way.
Yeah. By the way, the fucking intersection corner bullshit at grocery stores, I don't know what else to fucking call them. Are fucking death traps.
Yeah.
Like the amount of times I've almost run a person over.
Oh, yeah. There needs to be like signs on the ground, be like, yield the right of way or something.
Or like mirrors on the car.
Yeah.
Something, you know?
Yeah. Anyway, says, so yesterday I came into the gas station on mid-shift starting at 2 p.m. and Gonzo was already there. He wasn't in line, but on the phone off to the side. Shift change went as per usual with my quick count of the minimum balance drawer, and with that happy crap, my work day began. Within minutes, Gonzo was at my counter asking for cigarettes, which he paid for by card, all well and good. Next, he requested his first lotto tickets of the day, which came to $24. He presented me with a crisp $100 bill, whereupon he was informed that I couldn't take that. I didn't have enough change. I just opened it, and he had just seen me do it. Synapses were almost firing when he asked the lady behind him for change, but she didn't have it. So here's where it gets stupid. Gonzo gets out of the line since he can't pay, and the lady behind him pays for stuff by card. There was no one else behind her, so she steps up and asks for the same tickets as before. He asks for the same tickets as before, brandishing the same $100 bill. What the fuck? I don't have the change. He's informed curtly again. Okay, Gonzo says. Wanders around the store a bit, then comes back and he wants $20 worth of gas. Before I do anything, I must insist. Show me the money. And he pulls out the $100 bill. Raising my voice for that kind of kooky customer who's just not getting it otherwise, I can't take that bill. If you show it to me again, I'm kicking you out. Fortunately, Gonzo left on his own. Congratulations.
Gonzo became Gonzo.
Oh, Gonzo. That, ha ha ha. Very funny.
Thank you. I try.
You're welcome.
Are you proud of me, Dad?
Sure. Anyway, yeah, I just hate people who try to like fandangle their way around things that they know that they're not going to get away with.
So, what I don't understand, and you've worked cashier, I'm assuming, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
at restaurants, but never retail.
If you can't take a bill because you can't change it, is that the right term?
Yeah.
Can that person like come back later after, you know, you've gotten money from other people and then change it?
It all depends. Most places that every place that I've worked at usually has like a safe in the back, and if you don't have the change in your till, basically just tell your manager like, hey, I need a couple of 20s or a 50 or something like that, and then they'll just go back and get you the change. So, but if it's like a timed vault or something like that, which only opens at certain times of the day to count the registers, which is a thing, then I can imagine that like you only have what's available in your register, and they probably could come back like in 2 or 3 hours or something like that. I would imagine so.
Okay, so.
But mostly the timed vault stuff is usually either like ginormous stores like a Walmart or just in bigger cities.
Walmart at least the one I worked at didn't have a gigantic safe.
Oh.
Which is what I would imagine the time safe being, is just huge vault thing, you know.
Well, I don't know if it's a ginormous vault, but like, you know, they have the safes that are like as big as an entertainment center.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So I work IT on a state level, meaning I'm part of the IT department that does support for my state's government offices. One of the areas I specifically handle are teams' phones. So do you mean like you handle their phones? Or I'm going to assume that's what you mean. Yesterday we got a ticket put in that this office has a team desk phone that's not working. They got the phone an account a year ago. Either they never signed in or on the phone and all this time, or someone changed the password and never told anyone. Whichever the answer is anyone's guess. Because getting anything from this office is like pulling teeth. I like to pull my teeth.
Okay.
Actually, I did that as a kid.
What?
Yeah, I would yank teeth out of my head.
Okay.
Didn't hurt.
Move along.
Okay. But I digress. Me and a coworker tested the account to make sure it was just a password issue. Got a new password set up, tested it on our end to make sure it works, and then we explained the problem to the user. Gave her the new password along with the sign-in email and asked her to test it out. Now, I'm a firm believer that no one working in an office job is so incompetent that they can't sign into a phone when all they have to do is put in an email and password. This lady was intent on proving me wrong. Okay, did you know you could sign into phones?
Yeah, especially if it's like an office setting. Yeah, they don't use normal telephones or normal cell phones. They usually use a VoIP system, which is a voice over internet protocol. And in order to use one, you have to have your own login.
Okay.
Yeah.
The whole phone thing is kind of out of my realm of.
And
no.
usually you can dial out with a inter office connection, which is, you know, what they use at like call centers and stuff. But the main purpose of a VoIP system in an office is like to call each other. That's like one of the biggest reasons to have that. So you don't have to type in a full on number every single time. You can just hit #725. Yeah.
Okay, well, I didn't know that existed.
Yeah, I worked in a call center at internet company.
Oh, speaking of which,
Yeah.
I was at one of the other houses, and I saw a sign that said the internet company
That I worked at? Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like another satisfied customer.
Yeah, I've seen those.
And I immediately thought of you, and I was like, he'll get a kick out of that.
Yeah, that's funny.
So. Ignored all my attempts throughout the day and following day to find out if they're having any other issue. It was only about 4 p.m. today that she finally responded, freaking out because she still can't get into the phone and needs someone to come down here for her quickly. We already confirmed that the login credentials are correct. We're not sending someone across town just to sign into a phone for someone. So I sent her the phone setup documents, told her again how you sign into the phone, and if typing on the phone is difficult, understandable keypad on the phone is small, easy to do typos. Then this is how you sign in to the phone via your computer.
Yes.
I lost my spot. I had to scroll, and then it was like, "Hey, I'm over here." No, I'm over here.
Okay.
She still kept freaking out on me because she already had these documents. She needed someone down here so they could use their phone. What? She needs someone down here so they can use their phone.
It's probably typed the message weird.
They pay my agency to do this. They don't. They do not pay my department for support. I don't know why. She thinks she's forking over money, and so we should be sending someone down. I gave up. I drove down across town to her office, despite this making me late for my second job as a result. And guess what? The phone signs in fine. Her issue wasn't that she couldn't sign in. She openly admitted that since we updated the password yesterday, she did not even attempt to sign into the phone, despite us specifically asking her to make sure it's working on her end. Have you ever had people like that?
So she did that in protest of them updating her password.
It doesn't say.
That's kind of what I'm getting.
It just says, like, they tried to get her to do the thing, and then she refused to do the thing or didn't do the thing.
Well, I've had it where, like, so when I did tech support at internet company, we had to do tech support for our own company, like people in other departments too. Like it was a very rare thing to come up, but sometimes we did have to be like, okay, so the sales department is having this issue with their computers. Can you help?
So general maintenance, essentially.
Yeah. They're like, well, our own tech support can help before we actually call the maintenance people, which did like get paid per commission. Like every job that they did, they got paid. So one time, our front desk people, I don't remember what they were. They were just like the intake people for the public. They were having something going on with their fucking printer, right? And they were like, hey, Nick, can you go up to the front desk and help? I'm like, yeah, sure. But before I actually got up, I was like, did you do this? Did you do that? Did you do this? Did you do that? Did you do that? And I'm like, yes, we've done all that. I'm like, okay, cool, I'm coming up.
Hang on, did you punch it?
No.
Okay. Because I know that actually fixes printers.
Sometimes,
yeah.
But they were like, oh yeah, we're trying to print this receipt out for the customer, and I don't know what happened. And I'm like, is this the first time you've used this today, or has this been acting up all day? And they're like, well, no, this is the first time we've printed anything off of this one printer. I'm like, but the other printers are fine. I'm like, yeah. Like, okay, so it's not a network error. And so I go through the whole rigmarole, and I'm like, is it plugged in? Yes, it's plugged in. Is the power on? Yes, the power's on. Is it actually plugged into the computer? Hey, look at that. It's not. The USB cable that goes from the printer to the computer was plugged into a USB plug-in on the side of the monitor instead of the actual like computer tower for some fucking reason. And I'm like, yeah, that might be the reason. So I plugged it into the tower, and look at that connectivity.
If you don't know much about computers, I can see why you would just plug it into the monitor.
I suppose, but at the same time, I was on the phone, because the front desk was like on the opposite side of the building. So I was like, okay, so is it plugged into the computer? And they said yes. And I said, is it plugged in directly into the computer, or is it plugged in to like a USB hub or an extension cord or anything like that? And they're like, no, it's directly into the computer, which it was not. So, you know,
I've met people who think that the monitor
is the computer.
Yeah.
Well, if it's like an all-in-one.
Let me finish this and then.
Oh, it's not done?
No.
Oh.
We have 2 more paragraphs. Sorry.
I thought we were done with it.
I wanted to pull my hair out. I came all this way because she literally could not be bothered to sign in to the phone herself. Literally, all she had to do was tap the sign-in button and type the email and password we gave her. That's all. But she didn't even want to try. It's just so frustrating.
Okay. So this
and
is
she kept complaining because somehow this is our fault. Update. I talked to my manager about it this morning. She ain't too thrilled about this either. Apparently this gal has done this sort of thing in the past for other issues. Long story short, closed the ticket out with a note that the issue was that she refused to sign in herself. As per manager, our team will not provide on-site support for her incidents anymore, unless it is genuinely necessary, of course.
Okay, so that's a completely different scenario than what I was thinking in my head. I have actually had somebody do something like that, where somebody specifically in I don't remember what the department was called, but it was basically routing, telling trucks where to go, and setting up appointments for people at their physical homes for technicians to go out. And
deliveries, kinda.
Yeah. There's this one chick that was new, and that routing department used to be right next to our cubicles in tech support, so we kind of interacted a lot. So I knew a couple of things on how to do a couple of routing jobs.
And they tech support, right?
Huh?
And they learned some tech support shit, right?
Probably, I don't know, but basically the deal was that she didn't know how to send somebody to Nevada, because at the time, I've told you, they were doing fiber optic in Nevada.
Now I'm pretty sure they're in Utah.
Maybe, I don't know.
Or I heard that they're either in Utah or starting to branch into Utah and send fiber optic up out there.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, those goddamn fucking Mormons.
But she's like, yeah, it's a different layout and everything's in different places, and I have no idea how to actually like execute the order, basically. And I'm like, okay, so you have everything linked up, you have the specific driver you want to send out, and you have the address and everything. She's like, yes. And this was late at night, so she was like the only one in the routing department. And it was just me and my 2 other guys. So I'm like, oh, I can help you. And I'm like, did you do this, that, and the other thing? She's like, yes, I've done all this, and I just don't know how to execute the order. And I'm like, did you hit the execute button? And she's like, yes, of course. And I'm like, show me where the execute button is. And she was clicking on the execute button, but it wasn't in Nevada. And I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm hitting execute. I'm like, yes, but this is for North Idaho. And she's like, no, this is Utah. And I'm like, well, go to not Utah, Nevada. And I'm like, go to the Nevada page and click execute. She's like, okay. 2 minutes later, it's still not working. And I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, it's just not working. It's just not working. And I'm like, okay. So I get out of my chair. I walk maybe 6 feet, because it was like just divided by one wall. I go around the wall 6 feet, and I look at her screen, and I'm like, are you clicking this button? And she said, yes. And I'm like, no, you're not. And I move the mouse, and I click the button. Ta-da! Order executed. And I'm like, you were not pressing that button. And she's like, yes, I was. And I'm like, what is your deal? Why? What the fuck? I don't know what her deal was. I don't know if she just wanted me to click the button for her, or maybe
it's too far.
Maybe she had the hots for me, and maybe she just wanted to see me. I don't fucking know, but she just refused to click the fucking button.
Was she hot?
She was a little hot.
Then probably.
Maybe. I don't know.
I used to try and give tech support to people for like basic problems over the phone, and I gave up on that shit real fucking quick.
Well, unfortunately, with my job, I had to.
Well,
because
fortunately for me, I had that choice, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just one of those things where it's just like, it just should not happen.
It was actually really funny because with our own products, like with our extenders or Wi-Fi meshes or just regular routers, we had to do tech support on those, which those are pretty simple. But even if they called in and they're like, well, I can't connect my TV to the Wi-Fi, or my printer's acting up or whatever, we had to do some tech support with that, which were always a pain in the ass. But there was an
old lady that had like 30 different...
Oh, it was fucking ridiculous. That lady, yeah, she had like 30 or 40 different devices, and they were all like she had like 6 different smart TVs and like 3 printers and like 10 tablets and like 10 fucking like security cameras all on their own different networks, which was really fucking weird. But no, that's not what I'm talking about.
Okay, but
there came a point in time where the company had to change their policy in which if it's not our own device, you have 15 minutes to try to help them, and if you couldn't figure it out after 15 minutes, you were eligible to then say, I don't know, man, look it up. Like,
use Google.
Like literally a lot of the time after that implementation, we were just all like, we are going to refer you to the manufacturer's website, and if you can't figure it out after that, then there's nothing we can do.
Like, there, and I'm not ashamed to admit this, there were times where I would be putting a piece in or like a part in something, and I wouldn't know where the fuck it went. So I would Google it. You know, like, Google is great if you know how to use it. First of all, don't fucking believe everything you see on the internet.
Yeah.
That more or less goes for some viewers out there.
Okay.
Not specifically directed at you, but you know what? Don't believe everything you see on the internet.
Okay.
Dumbass.
Okay.
But Google is okay, fine. Please don't believe everything you see on the internet, dumbass.
Okay.
Better?
A little bit. Didn't hurt my feelers.
But like, it's a great resource. You just enter in the device you're having issues with.
Oh yeah, I don't know how many times I had gotten a call where someone was like, help me do the thing, and I literally just Googled the thing, and I'm like, oh, this is what Google says. I'm like, oh, that works, thanks.
Like, literally, you just type in the for example, Optiplex 720, right?
The
tower.
The tower? Oh, 7010.
7010. I was close. So I would search Optiplex 7010 and then blue screen of death just to pull a problem out of my ass. And then it would tell you how to solve it.
I farted.
I can't get away from it.
I was trying to fart without shitting myself. I'm still having tummy issues. Regulating the texture of my shit.
And then you follow the Google. The Google.
The Goog, yes.
That's
what my wife says. I must consult the Goog.
I sound like a fucking scammer.
Yeah.
Okay, so first go to the Google. And you follow the instructions. Or you go and undo the changes that you just made. Or the last changes you made. Because 9 out of 10 times, it's a user error that is causing the blue screen. So.
Oh yeah, I've also had a couple of calls where they're like, "Okay, I did this." And I'm like, "Okay, can you try this?" And they're like, "Okay, that didn't work." And I'm like, "Oh, that should have worked. Can you please undo the thing that you did previously to what I told you to do?" And they're like, "I don't know what that is." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And they're like, "What was that thing?" And I'm like, "I don't know. You didn't tell me what you did." And they were like, what do you mean you don't know?" And I'm like, "I do not know what you did behind the cell phone in which I cannot see through, sir." That's happened a few times.
That's another thing. The difference between being, contracted and
And being
hired.
paid hourly to do something, yeah.
Yeah. And working for myself, doing what I love,
Yeah.
is I could call people a dumbass all I wanted.
Oh, I couldn't call people dumbasses. However, I did call a couple of customers very silly, and they got even more pissed at that than they probably would have gotten if I had called them fucking stupid or something. Like literally, I've sat there. I'm like, I would prefer you not be so silly right now, ma'am, or something like that. They get so angry. Oh my god!
Stop being a tardness.
Or calling an entire situation silly or something like that. That gets people angry too.
I learned very quickly that if you're gonna insult people, wait until after you get paid.
Yeah.
Because that is a whole different headache. So as soon as they hand over the cash, it's literally, "Oh yeah, by the way, you're a fucking idiot." But
I was able to call one customer in particular a fucking bitch because one, I was the acting shift manager at the time, and two, the guy called my basically my employee a fucking bitch too. And it wasn't that I directly called him a fucking bitch. It was like, "Sir, if you call my employee a fucking bitch one more time, I'm gonna have to like not accept your call," or something like that. Like I was able to call him a fucking bitch, or like I understand that you think that my employee is a fucking bitch, but I would rather not have to call you a fucking bitch or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was, but yeah.
I would have just been like, "Takes one to know one."
No, there was this dude that that one of my actual bosses got to cuss out because they were being so extremely misogynistic and being so terrible to the females that they were talking to. They had called in like 3 or 4 different times and got females most of the time, except for one of my coworkers that was a guy got him. And he was like, "Hey, I've been listening to how you've been talking to my coworkers, and I don't appreciate it. And if you don't stop, I'm going to refer you to my higher ups." And they called him some kind of an awful name too. And they're like, "Okay, I'm gonna just transfer you right now." And my boss, who was a female and a Hispanic female.
God! Oh God! That's when you know you done fucked up. Is when somebody can cuss you out in 2 fucking languages at the same time.
She laid into him pretty fucking hard. I remember she said a couple of choice things, and I think she used the word cunt. It was quite a wonderful sight. But yeah, let's just do one story each because we're getting pretty close. Another Tales from Retail. I got into a shouting match with a customer, which is always wonderful. So this happened yesterday. It's my first real confrontation with the customer beyond the normal "please don't do that" thing. That's against the rules conversation. I'll say up top, as an employee, I should not have used the word stupid. However, I didn't pause long enough to remember I needed to react as an employee, and instead reacted as a community member who saw a child in a dangerous situation. Oh boy.
Boy.
I work at a furniture store, Swedish and blue. If you're not familiar, you buy the furniture and buy it's IKEA. So I'm trying to leave the warehouse floor to go to lunch. I see a young guy who I thought was probably 16 with a much younger brother running down an aisle pushing a flat with 2 boxes and a young child. The setup is 1 box on the cart, 1 box leaning upright between the handles of the cart, and a 3 to 4-year-old kid laying on top of the box, the bottom box, under the leaner. I don't know what a leaner is. Not a good spot. I don't know what a
flat is.
It's like, isn't that kind of like a forklift type of a deal?
Oh, is it that cart thing? But it's like flatbed.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
So I immediately react, absolutely not. The adult, almost adult maybe, stops the cart and leans down to the kid. Oh, sorry, buddy, you gotta get off now. Then I tell him, and I need you to not be running around with a full cart. Now, honestly, I couldn't remember what exactly the guy said here if you offered me $1 million, but I know he pushed back on my stopping their, quote, fun, because I responded by pointing at the cart and saying, because that's a stupid decision, talking about having a small child lay down between 2 heavy boxes while you push it as fast as you can go. He did not like my calling him out. Okay, hate all you want, but I would never tell my son something is a stupid idea. Son? I didn't see that one coming. I started to walk away, but then he follows me into the walkway, yelling, great idea, call your customers stupid. He's causing a bigger scene than necessary, so I turned back and told him, I didn't call you stupid, I was telling you that it was a bad idea. What if he was under there and the box slipped and it fell on him? Y'all, I'm not exaggerating here. The second I finished my sentence, the box in question slipped from a propped position and fell exactly where the kid had been laying. I have witnesses on that timing. At the point, I'm imploring this guy to realize the risk he was taking with the kid's safety. I raised my voice above his tirade and gestured to the fallen box. What if he was still under there? The guy had the audacity to shoot back. He wasn't, though, as if he has grounds to claim responsibility for his son not being between those 2 boxes. Like it wasn't entirely my doing. So I shouted back because I made him get off, and then I walked away and left him yelling after me and trying to bring other customers into it. A coworker told me that he even turned to his kid and said, "Can you believe he called us stupid?" And that's what I have the biggest problem with. I didn't call anyone stupid. However, you want to interrupt my using the word in the first place is up to you. But this preschooler had no blame in the situation, and I absolutely didn't address him even once. That guy basically told his young child that he was at fault and that a random adult called him stupid. If you're so concerned with your kid not being told he's stupid, console him. Don't follow around and yell at a stranger, then bring him into it like he's an equal participant. As I said at the beginning, I should have said bad or terrible, but I won't feel bad about keeping a young kid from getting hurt. I told my manager exactly what happened, and he basically said to pay attention to wording, but he's never going to tell us not to say anything if we see a dangerous situation.
That's a good boss.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually seen things like that happen in real life where an employee of, I think it was Target, told somebody something, and then the customer like yelled at the employee, and then the employee yelled back, and then I saw like the manager get involved and the manager take the employee's side. I'm not completely sure what the context of that situation was, but like, it's always really funny when they're like,
Myrtle!
Huh? Myrtle? What do you mean?
I think that's her name.
Who?
Your grandpa's wife?
Oh, Wilma.
What's it called?
I don't know why that. Just because it's Target?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I think it's really funny when somebody's like, "Get me your manager. I don't like the way I'm being treated," and the manager's just like, "Yeah, no, fuck you, dude.
You're gonna get treated worse now."
Yeah.
This one is from a few years ago. Said CEO has moved on to somewhere else, but we still joke about this in our team. Our previous CEO was leaving and a new one was hired. He was poached from a pretty well-known organization down in the city. A bigwig there coming to a bigwig to be a bigwig here. He still lived down in the city, but rented a place closer to work and went home on weekends. Must be nice having 2 houses kind of money. Not long after he started, he went on a company trip. He didn't need his laptop, so he left it at home down in the city. During that time, we had some kind of email outage. Not massive, but took us an hour or 2 to diagnose and fix. While the emails were down, we got a call from the CEO. He wanted to know what was going on. And we explained that there was an email outage and that we were working to resolve. He got short with us and demanded we get it fixed so that his secretary can handle emails as if we weren't already. And if his telling us to do so would cause it to be fixed because he asked us. I lost my spot. And said that if we weren't able to get it resolved, someone would need to drive over 2 hours to his house in the city and retrieve his laptop so his secretary could access the cached emails there. We said we keep trying to fix the email server, and soon enough we did it. We did get it fixed. Made up crisis averted, I guess. Well, word got back to management, who pulled him aside and said that his behavior isn't the way we handle these sort of issues. No apology from him, of course, but this dude got told to pull his head in. He's been gone for a few years, but whenever we have an outage, we all joke, if you don't get this shit fixed, you'll need to drive 6 hours to collect my laptop, kiss my wife, and bring it back. The laptop, not the wife. The wife hates me.
That's funny.
So I can stare blankly at it until shit is fixed.
Yeah.
Yeah, sadly there are people like that out there. And it fucking sucks.
Yeah. See, I don't think I have any stories related to that, but
I do.
Oh, maybe I do, actually.
So
kind of sort of tangentially related, but not really.
So I was building this computer for this guy.
Uh-huh.
And apparently it wasn't even for this dude, it was for his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted like all these color wires and lights everywhere and, you know, cool, whatever. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like I can do that.
Yeah.
But literally 10 minutes in, I had literally just screwed the motherboard in place. He starts screaming at me, what's taking so long?
Oh.
It took me well over 4 hours to build that damn thing. Because, like, I can build computers fairly well, fairly quick.
Mm-hmm.
Until someone's screaming in my ear constantly.
Yeah.
Because usually when I'm working on computers, I listen to music. It helps me focus.
Yeah.
Screaming does not.
Yeah. That's just like anything that you're trying to do if somebody's screaming at you. Like, I will work slower on purpose.
Oh, and here's the funny part. He said that if I didn't get done within a certain amount of time, he was going to call the police.
What? What? Why?
His reasoning was because I was robbing him.
Of his time? Or what the fuck?
I guess. His
Like-
time, the money for the parts.
That's okay.
But, like, I was doing what he hired me to do.
Mhm.
And I was just like, fucking do it. The cops, I'd be surprised if the cops even fucking show.
Yeah.
Guess who never called the cops?
Yeah.
Because he's a little bitch.
Yeah.
Like his daughter has a bigger dick.
Okay. One Sunday, working at internet company. So Sundays, over there are usually only like a 2 or 3 man crew, not counting the shift manager that's there. Because not a whole lot happens on Sundays.
Yeah.
So it goes at that company specifically because it's a local company. The CEO literally works in the same building as I did. It's CEO and then district manager and then department manager and then shift manager, right?
Is the CEO a dick?
He was actually a pretty cool guy.
So you don't want me to assassinate him?
No.
Okay.
It was the regional manager that fired me. But this was towards the end of my tenure there. So it's the same guy that fired me, right? He had just barely started working there. I think before I got fired, he was only working there for maybe like 3 months, and I had been there a little bit under a year. But I was there with 2 other guys plus our shift manager, which she was really cool too. And usually on a Sunday we'll get a collective of maybe 25 calls for not even 8 hours. I think we're there on Sundays for maybe 6 hours. But all of a sudden our call queue went from 2 people to like 60 people. And I literally muted my call that I was on, and I'm like, "Hey manager, something broke." And she's like, What do you mean something broke?" And I'm like, and she looked at her computer and she's like, "Oh no." And then she got a call from the district manager, and we all kind of put one headphone off just to hear what she was talking about, and she even put it on speakerphone because she was getting pissed. And basically what happened was the district manager are like, "Hey, something's fucked." And she's like, "Yeah, I know." And he's like, "Do something about it." And she's like, "We can't. We're just tech support. We don't deal with tower issues." It's like, "How do you know it's a tower issue?" And she's like, "There can only be one reason why so many fucking people are calling us." And he's like, "We'll get it fixed." And he's like, "We have 0 network operations credentials. We can't do shit." And he's like, "Well, figure a way to get it fixed." And she's like, "That's not us. Call network operations." And he's like, "Well, they're not in the office." And he's like, "They're on call 24/7. Call them." And he's like, "Well, that's your deal." And he's like, "Do I have to call the CEO?" And he's like, "Excuse me?" I'm like, "Do I have to call the CEO?" And he's like, "I don't appreciate your tone." And she's like, "Okay, I'm calling the CEO. Bye." And she hung up and called the CEO. I was like, "Hey, can you tell him not to bother us and to actually call network operations?" And he's like, "Yeah, I can do that." So yeah, I've dealt something like that with something like that's similar, but not exactly.
But yeah, no, like it just pissed me off to no end because this dude was just like, "Hurry the fuck up," and like he was throwing insults left and right. He was throwing fucking slurs and fucking threats, and he wasn't gonna act on any of it.
Yeah.
He was like, "I can bench press 600 pounds," and I'm like, "Dude, you're
What the fuck did you say to me, you little shit? I'll have you know that I have 175 confirmed kills in the Navy SEALs.
He was a fucking twig.
Yeah.
How do you fucking believe that a twig could bench press 600?
No.
I don't even know if they make 600-pound weights.
Well, they have hundreds and 150s, I think.
Yeah, but like 600?
I don't know.
And it's just, and I just kept looking at him like, dude, shut the fuck up. I'm trying to work here.
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying to get the job done that you paid me or are paying me for.
Yeah.
And then he tried to skip out on paying me.
Very nice.
Oh, yeah. No, I was not going to let that slide.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's the show. I have to take a shit.
You are the shit.
Okay. Remember to check out the Twitter, the Redbubble, the Patreon. Give us free money at the tip jar, or get yourself some energy drink powder over at w.gg. Use code Taboo Tots for 10% off. And do you have anything else to say before we end this episode, Mr. Morgan?
My alligator sat on a frog. My frog died.
Is that what you're doing?
No. Dad?